very good friend, Atiku Abubakar, is officially in the ADC. And it does look like a lot of momentum against the fact that you heard his view that your party is not living to the expectation, your party is failing Nigerians, and your party is getting unpopular by the day, by the situation the Nigerian people are facing.
Thank you, Shehu. I think the thing to ask, and this is where you must play your critical role of assisting citizens and your viewers, to remind them of the antecedent of each of these persons. I heard him say he was a founding member of APC. That is part of the truth. He was a founding member of PDP. And according to him, what he predicted will happen to PDP has come to pass. Now, if a man was a vice president, number 2 citizen, from 1999 to 2007, and while he was a vice president, he decamped from the party rather than reform it so that others can build on it, he ported to APC to become, as he just claimed, a founding member of APC. And President Buhari defeated him in the primaries. And again, he went back to PDP. I just want to ask him, whatever anybody wants to say, all the political parties in Nigeria put together, they are not equivalent to the Nigerian state, the sum total of all the parties. So if Atiku, as a former president, other PDP, could not fix PDP, he could not reconstruct it, he could not provide leadership, and use the influence which he had built. Because let's face it, President Obasanjo gave Atiku a lot of leverage as vice president. He gave him so much powers, which he used to more or less to influence the governors, which is why he tried to contest election against him. So if you couldn't fix your party, how can you lay claim to wanting to fix Nigeria? Then according to him, he went into APC. What he did explain is how he left APC. He left only after he lost the ticket. Where did he return to? He went back to PDP. He's so much in love with PDP, at least for the purpose of contesting election. He could not build PDP. So if an Atiku can't build PDP, that made him vice president, and his option was to check out to APC, and then out of frustration, having lost election, return to PDP, yet he could still not fix it. Now he has found a new concussion. Who is in that party that any Nigerian will vote for? Atiku is weather beaten. Now the other one, Rotimi Amaechi is the most terrible. Look at his choice of language. A guy who shut down River Judiciary because he wanted to appoint his own personal favorite as chief judge of River State. Once he couldn't have his way, the River State Judiciary was shut down for almost 2 years. The courts were shut. A whole autonomous arm of government. If that man has federal power, he will shut down the Supreme Court. Because, as I say, if you start stealing a piece of meat from your mother's plate, when you grow, you become an armed robber. So if as a governor, he could shut down River Judiciary. If I don't know any other thing, I know that. And look at the childish way he talks. When he said, he responded to what I believe the Honorable Minister of Electricity said about him, His Excellency Wike, he said, I don't talk to children. So a former governor, a former minister, a current minister, is a child in the eyes of Wike. So the way you alter is also a reflection of who you are. So for me, I don't see any Nigerian who is going to vote for a party or someone like Wike. I mean, like Amaechi. And remember, for you to understand why Amaechi is completely empty, check the record. How did he become governor of Rivers State? It was purely the creation of the Supreme Court. The very court that he sought to disgrace, to disrespect, and to shut down the Rivers State judiciary. He was a stranger to ballot.
You seem you to underestimate. You're underrated and underestimating that coalition.
Which election has he ever won? No, in 2015. No, wait, in 2015.
But he helped Buhari to win election.
Wait, he did it. In 2015.
Director General
Let me give you the facts. Director General. That is what makes it even more painful. He was Director General in 2015. He didn't even vote for Buhari because he unwisely see that he was being overwhelmed by Governor Wike's forces. He ordered his followers to boycott the election. So he himself didn't vote for Buhari, even though he ended up as a minister for 8 years. He did not vote. He was the DJ of the campaign. He didn't vote. Check the records.
Senator, quickly, the question here is there are a lot of uncomfortable circumstances, especially security. And a lot of Nigerians who are watching tonight will be wondering, what should they expect tomorrow? What kind of hope should they have? You said that your party is giving its best, the president is doing his best, but that best doesn't look like things are working. But you alluded to the fact that things are unusual and unnatural with the security situation, and despite that we have seen. What exactly do you make? Are you insinuating or inferring that there are some hands and some artificiality to the circumstances leading to insecurity we're seeing in Nigeria today?
No, my position is this: first, that I believe President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing his very best, and check it out, because he was not satisfied with the pace of progress, even though we have been making progress. He had calls on his own, not waiting for Nigerians to call on him the way Nigeria used to do during the tenure of his predecessor, to replace the service chiefs and appoint new ones with a clear mandate. I will not take any excuses. No more excuses, he said to the service chiefs. That shows a president that knows what is going on and is not lamenting this. He takes steps to fix it. But remember, like every ailment, this issue of insecurity had been there from about 2006 to 2023 when President Tinubu took over. Like any ailment, over time, this disease, which probably if it was handled differently at its inception for a nipped in the pod, have been allowed to, like cancer that has got it to stage 4. And what President Tinubu has been doing is to do everything possible. I mean, I have seen, regardless of what people say, and I watch it from from the media, where Evil America commended the Directorate of State Security Services, the DSS, for helping to apprehend some notorious terrorists that are wanted not only in Nigeria but outside the boundary of Nigeria. Now, so don't talk as if the fact that the child has not, the guy is not back to completely fit to resume play football. It's not to deny the fact that appropriate surgery has been carried out and is still being carried out. Nobody is pretending that it is all over, but let no one deny that progress has been made. Because I was in this country where we were forced to postpone national elections because Boko Haram had taken over and installed foreign flag in about 18 local government areas in the northeast. And I mentioned some of the things that has happened here. So, through your television station, I have watched the number of people who have been convicted. The only worry I have, as far as those convictions are concerned, is that I don't know the power of the judges. Where the court pronounced, the law says, he shall be sentenced to death if guilty of terrorism, and the judge sentenced to 20 years. I'm unable to understand that. Different judges rewriting the law passed by a parliament. Because the business of the judge is to interpret. So those kind of cases, I'm sure the president must be also looking at those. That if you have killed so many people, and there you are apprehended, why should any judge grant you any clemency that is not a power in law to do? Only the president can exercise the power of clemency. So, however, the point needs to be made that but for serious intelligence gathering and a coherent coordination by the Office of the National Security Advisor, some of these achievement would have been made. The fact that people have renewed this attack this past 2-3 weeks, I just ask myself, are they coinciding? But it will appear, like I said somewhere else, that as we are approaching election, maybe there are some people like Turaki, is it Turaki or the fashioner chairman of PDP?
Tanimu Karibu Turaki.
Turaki, okay, Kabiru Turaki, a former minister who said Trump should come and help him fix PDP. He's reporting PDP leaders to Donald Trump. So if remarkably that desperate, it's not too much to expect that there might be some of these guys who are so frustrated and, in the words of Amaechi, so hungry of power that they can't survive outside power. Apparently, after they have conquered all the other needs of life, they now just find that they don't have political power and they are hungry. And so, like every hungry guy, they will go to any length to take measures that may appear as we move closer to the election to reopen this kidnapping and targeting of schools, etc., etc. So that's very unfortunate. So
you think that there is an artificiality to what is going on?
For you to also know that the president is not sleeping on this. Besides holding meetings and so on, the president has directed the IG to appoint, to recruit additional 30,000. And I believe that will be the first phase, policemen, to expand the number of policemen that can be deployed to carry out pure police duties across the country. So that prayerfully the armed forces will not be found play the role of the police in different parts of the country. Number two, you've heard the Senate. Incidentally, that was my amendment to a motion arising from the kidnapping in Kebbi, when the Senate accepted the motion that to advise the president to start the process to get the armed forces to recruit additional 100,000 men. So all of that shows that everybody is concerned that we must begin to do something differently, including recognizing the fact that we have witnessed huge increase in our population growth relative to the size of the Nigerian armed forces. But there can be no overnight solution. What we can question, does this president care? Yes. Is he taking steps? Yes. Are people being apprehended? Yes. Are we beginning to see convictions? Yes. Has the problem completely disappeared? No. So, sometimes, the outcome you get may not be commensurate with the effort you are putting in. But always remember, this is not a problem that evolved during the tenure of APC or certainly during the tenure of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So that it was a campaign issue was as a result of the fact that the problem has been there. And it evolved during the People's Democratic Party's rulership with Atiku Abubakar as vice president and later Yar'Adua, later Jonathan. Ever before he moved to Buhari and now, unfortunately, Tinubu now had to inherit.
And it's been 10 years of the APC now.
But obviously, when you look at what is going on now, I think we are beginning to see the intervention of DSS in an unprecedented manner. Look at the guys who bombed people who bombed a church in the southwest. They have been apprehended. So that culture of impunity is gone or is going.
Senator, I'd like to know.
Those are cases people thought are closed.
Yeah,
but we're beginning to see that the security people are working. They are getting appropriate intelligence and they're able to apprehend people who are involved in this. All we can ask for together is that the judiciary should ensure that when it comes to cases like this, they should not treat them like other cases that they are joined for 5 years, 6 years,
imagine you and your
without
colleagues,
getting conviction.
One will imagine that you and your colleagues in the National Assembly will rise, as you always say, when you move a motion of national importance, I mean, that you will urgently move to ensure that there are laws that are made and fast track to ensure that our nation is secure. Because we've been mouthing state policing, all of the measures retreat by the National Assembly lawmakers. I mean, isn't there anything that you and your colleagues can do as a representative of the people? I'm surprised
that even after you have so generously reported what is going on with regard to the constitutional amendment and all of the issues that various people are speaking against, including state police, you have to understand, Shehu, that we are in a democracy. It has its beauty, but it also has its challenges. One of the challenges is that it's not up to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for example, to say, I want police, state police today, and he will get it done. It's beyond his powers. It is beyond the power of the Senate to say, I want state police today. It is beyond the power of the House of Rep. It has to be a consensus done by 2/3 of the National Assembly, and it has to go to the 2/3 of the states of the Federation. But for me, this is not even my problem, right? Because there are many who think that state police is not necessarily automatic solution. Just the same way people say, look, I see people now calling on INEC whether they should take over the responsibilities of conducting local government election after seeing the way in which local government are conducted by states. So there are people who wonder whether having state police, you go to end up with some men well armed who may not be properly paid, and they may not only use the weapons for political reasons, they might also use them for other purposes.
Let me pause you for a moment.
So there are no shortcut solutions. We have a complex issue that requires a holistic, clear thinking for us to have a national consensus.